Okay, good morning. Let's go ahead and continue on with this handout series that I've been working on. And we'll start down here, which is a good place to start. You never know when this piece of paper will be misplaced and you need to find it, or you need to have somebody get it back to you. Just like everything in this series, they're all interconnected in different ways, sort of following the rule of relationships. You know, when we did the flag shapes, we were relating the top lines to the bottom lines, and so it looked sort of like this right here, if you all remember how this all kind of played. And we discussed then, whenever a line changes direction totally, a new line is formed, okay? And then you have to look for the clues that are all given within these things to sort of figure it out. Same thing's going to work with this here, okay? This is actually two lessons put together, scrolls on top and holes on the bottom. And you'll see how that plays. We'll start with the scrolls on top here. I'll zoom a little bit so you have an idea of what we're doing here. The example over here is a scroll. It's a piece of paper laying on the ground. You know, it could be a lot of different things, you know, treasure maps and this and that. And if you really look at these close, you'll figure out that they're not really all that much different than the flag shapes that we were doing. The only difference is they're vertical and on the side. The same rule works over and over again. I'm going to give you a clue what's going on. Mostly all the lines, the things to remember is to stay away from horizontal lines, okay? And then so all your lines are either going to be pretty much direction 7 or direction 1. Is that the idea? Or they're going to be vertical. In this case, we're going to be dealing with 7 and 1 lines, staying away from the horizontal line, okay? That's the biggest mistake people make. They want to get horizontal. Okay, so what we're going to do is I give you the clue here. All these are going to go off and obviously extend into direction 1. So let's go ahead and start off with what we know. We're going to come into this point just like we did on the flag shapes. And we're going to go ahead and wherever the line takes a total direction move, another line is formed until it runs into something. Okay? And then we see these little curved lines here, which is the bottom. We're going to run our extensions in. And then whatever that front line does, the back line does sort of the same thing. Got the idea? It's just the way it kind of works like that. So go ahead and let's look at these here without the cheats on. Going to work the same way. Obviously, here's your extension line. It's in direction 1. Okay, don't get confused in thinking that that's a horizontal line. It's not. Let's go ahead and do the easy parts here. Wherever a line ends or changes direction, a new line is formed. So we're going to do it just kind of like this here. And then these kind of work a little bit better if they're not straight lines. If you want to show that it's paper or it's pliable, we don't want to use straight lines. And then whatever the front line does, the back line is going to kind of do the same thing, just kind of like this here. And then just like on the flag shapes that we did, there's going to be a little jump here. And again, that's about 1/8 of an inch. So we're going to come up 1/8 of an inch and we're going to finish it here. Again, mind the jump from here. The distance from here to here is the same as the distance from here to here. Rule of relationships, right? If we turn it this way, it looks very, very much just like the flag shapes that we were doing earlier. Kind of easy to figure out. We're going to go to the next one. We're going to play it up. The information is sort of given to you here. I like to start in the center and sort of give me all the distances that I need. These lines are all about the same length. And then we're going to follow the rule that says whatever the relationship, whatever that front line does, the back line sort of does the same thing. And also look for the overhang or the jump. Okay? Again, the distance from here to here is the same as the distance from here to here. that makes it consistent all the way through. We're going to go ahead and move to this one. And I find these a little bit easier to do in direction 7 lines. I just go ahead and flip this over, and I make them all vertical lines, which is, like I've said many times, is that it's easier to draw and to keep them in alignment. Flip it around. Whatever the front line does, the back line does. Okay. Mind my overhang right here, which is the same from here to here, and then whatever the front does right here is going to do the same back there. All right, work your way around. I'm going to go ahead and do it again. Same exact thing. Sometimes I start in the center, sometimes I just go from left to right or right from left. Wherever it makes a direction change, pull it down like this. Make these 3 lines all generally the same length. And then follow the rules of relationship. Whatever the front line does, the back line does. Mind your overhang. And that's about 1/8 of an inch. And we'll put that in there like this. Works kind of like that. I'm only going to go ahead and do one more of this. This is like I would like to refer to as a pirate map or something like that. It works the same way. We put in the things we're going to use. These are all going to go back in direction 7. And again, this is just like the ones we've done on the top or above it. Works just kind of like this here. But it's going to jump. Okay, kind of like this here. Try to get these lines all the same length. Finish it off this way. And then there's going to be another overhang or another jump. Look at the distance between here and here, okay? It's about 1/4 of an inch. So I know I'm going to have about 1/4 of an inch from here to here to complete that. And whatever the line does right here, the same is going to happen right there. I'm going to go ahead and let you all figure these other 2 out on your own, and let you figure those out. Okay. This next one here is about drawing holes. Okay. As you can see, this is sort of like limbs of a tree working their way out, and I want you to put a hole basically everywhere there is an X marked on here. Now, what you want to do is make sure, some things you need to know is you need to know where the center of the limbs are. Okay, these are my center lines on the limbs. I want to know kind of where they're at. Okay, because that's going to determine what's going on. So, next thing I do is all about the same size of these holes. That's about 1/2 of an inch. I'm going to go ahead and put an oval in there. All right. In the direction of the contour line or the outside edge of the branch. So it's going to change here. The contour of this branch goes like this here. And then it'll follow this contour line here. And then we'll follow the contour line here. Alright? They don't have to be perfect, just as long as they're going in the right direction. Then we're going to go ahead and add the thickness to these here. I'm going to make it look like it's kind of hollow here, okay? And so the way you do that is you add the outside or the thickness of the branch. It's a really simple concept. You're always going to show the thickness on the edge which is closest to the end of, or the contour of the tree. Okay, so this hole is closer to the left-hand side, so the thickness will be shown on the left-hand side. This hole is closer to the right-hand side here, so it's going to show the thickness on this side. When you get to this one over here, again, we're going to show the thickness on the closest to the edge of it. And this time it's on the bottom of the branch. Okay, so we go up to the next one, closest to the thickness there. So we're going to do this here. So you can see how this kind of works its way. The opposite going to happen up here and here. Again, make sure that you go ahead and complete all these holes. I really don't know how many are on there. Some of y'all may want to tell me that sometime. I think there's about 25 or 30 of them. All right, so that's the way that kind of works. You can come back and I used to have the classes add surface lines and shading lines to these. If you want to figure that out, you should. That'll be a good thing to do. All right, let's go ahead and see what kind of a job you can do on that.